On July 17th at 2:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be having a new moon in Cancer. And it's in this energy that our inner worlds will be leading the way. The new moon is a time for reflection and creating an intention. And at this time, we will be listening and tuning into our emotions and our intuitions to lead us forward in this energy. Cancer is a very feminine sign. It is the sign of motherhood and nurturing, and it is the sign of home. So in this Cancer new moon, we're going to be reflecting upon these areas of our lives. And we're also going to be tuning into our emotions, because Cancer is all about our feelings. It's a very intuitive water sign as well. So there may be a lot that comes up during this new moon time that tunes us into our inner worlds. And as we tune into our inner worlds, we're going to be doing so in order to find ways of initiating any changes that need to be made. Maybe we tune into how we feel about things and we realize, oh no, that's really not the same as it used to be. This has really changed for me. I want to be moving in a whole new direction. And rather than just kind of following through status quo with how things have been, this is an important time to really tune into how everything is really landing for you. If you've had any changes in your own perception and your own feelings around things, and to really let that guide you, let that initiate. Allow Cancer to lead in that way, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. And so it's all about initiating. And in fact, in this chart, we have a cardinal grand cross shape that has formed. So we have the sun and the moon in the cardinal sign of Cancer. We have it being opposed by Pluto in the cardinal sign of Capricorn. And then we have the nodes in the cardinal signs of Aries and Libra. So there's quite a bit of pressure that's being applied in this chart, and it is pressure that would follow with these cardinal attributes of initiating and moving something forward, and what are we going to do. But we're going to want to be reflective of our inner worlds in order to get the information that we need in order to really feel our way through this, rather than plan and decide what it's going to be, based on logic. It's going to be needing to be sourced and rooted in our inner spaces. So whatever's coming up around how you feel, and this is a great point to check in. How are you feeling about things? How are you feeling about projects? How are you feeling about the home life, and what needs to be moved forward? And does that need to be changed? Does that need to be reassessed to be more aligned with you and this internal space that you're checking in with? Some of the other energies that we have in this chart at the time of the new moon in Cancer is that we have Mars in Virgo. And Mars in Virgo is asking us to take action around creating order in our lives, organization, something like that. And it could be things that we've really sort of left and undone for quite a while. And at this time, we may have more energy naturally, as Mars is the planet of energy, to get these projects done. So we have Mars in Virgo, and Mars in Virgo really wants to get a project done. It's ready to get something organized. And then we have Saturn in Pisces retrograde. We have several retrograde planets at the time of this new moon, by the way. And it is slowing this process down for Mars. And Mars really doesn't like that. That's a lot of frustration. When we have oppositions, a lot of times it can bring up, it can be people in our lives. It can be actual people, relationships, things like that going on that are causing these oppositions. So perhaps somewhere in your life, you've gotten the momentum to get something done. Maybe you've organized something, and then you've got somebody else coming up and, kind of pulling all the strings and loosening everything up and, just impeding your process. So that would be something to reflect upon, is where are you meeting this resistance? What is that resistance about? But this would be very par for the course as far as this chart goes, because there does seem to be a lot of places where we need to look at and reflect upon relationships and how relationships may need to change in order to reflect more balance, because we do have that South Node in Libra right now, and that would be things that we're releasing, and Libra is very much about relationships. And of course, with that, with the Cancer new moon, it's time to really look at how can my emotional life have more balance, and maybe assessing relationships is the place to tune into at this time. Perhaps there are some relationships that really are not supporting you emotionally. We do have Pluto opposing the Sun and the Moon in this chart. That is creating the other major opposition that's happening at this time, and just asking us to really reflect upon what needs to transform emotionally for us right now, as Pluto is the planet of transformation. And of course, we have this Cancer energy that's all about our emotions, and there's quite a lot in this chart also emphasizing, forward moving energy with this nodal shift that's involved with this major grand cross. So what needs to transform for us emotionally at this time in order for us to move forward, in order for us to really become who we came here to become, for us to continue this journey in more of an aligned way? This check-in with our emotions is so significant. And this Cancer energy, and letting that really lead instead of the mind and saying, well, no, that doesn't sound like a good idea. It's more of a, what feels like a good idea at this time? What feels like it resonates at this time? And just really letting that Cancer, that strong intuitive force shine through at this time. And that could be something also in this energy that's really transforming, is that we're leading the way forward with more instinct, with more intuition, and, less needing to sort of make it make sense to other people. It's more having a resonance with ourselves. Yeah, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. So Cancer is where we lead ourselves from the inside. Cancer wants to feel secure. So the places that we are no longer feeling secure may need to change, and also our idea of home or our idea of security may be changing with this major opposition from Pluto that is happening at this time. We have 2 retrogrades that will be happening soon. I did speak about that in a podcast as well. And that is the Chiron retrograde in Aries and the Venus retrograde in Leo. Really beautiful energy for healing our wounds. Chiron goes retrograde for half the year. Every year, it's always a time of reflection and growth for us as we reevaluate our wounds. And in the energy of this Cancer new moon, that's really awakening that tuning in energy for us, as Venus, the sign of our passion and our values, our inspiration, is going to be going retrograde in Leo soon. This will be a time for us to reflect upon what will be assisting our self-esteem. What do we want to change in our lives so that we have more joy, so that we have more passion? And at this time, with this inner reflection and this drawing in with the new moon in Cancer, it's a great time to start that process of looking at where you have Leo in your chart and what are some things that you can do in that area to assure that you have more joy and more passion in your life. What are some things that need to change at this time for you to live a more joyous life? The Sabian symbol for this degree point for the sun and moon in the Cancer new moon chart is at 24 degrees 56 minutes of Cancer, and that corresponds with 25 Cancer for the Sabian symbol, which is a dark shadow or mantle thrown suddenly over the right shoulder. Seems quite dramatic. And what the description says about this is that it's enacting the soul's purpose. When we align worldly aims with the soul's essence vibration, we feel as though we have been blessed by divine dispensation. And this feels very resonant actually for this new moon in Cancer, where we're using the inner guidance to regulate and to help guide our outer actions at this time. So that's sort of the compass for which we're moving forward, especially with the connections to the nodal axis that this particular new moon is making. So there's this essence of being supported, of being blessed when we align with the soul's vibration. And I feel that that is exactly what this chart is all about, is really going within and finding that alignment. And there's also a lot of that echoed in the shift in the nodal axis from Taurus as our north node to having Aries as our north node, where we're definitely more in the cardinal energy. We are taking the initiative. We are sovereign, and we're touched in to what's really essential to us in order to really align with what we came here to do, with our soul's purpose. So I really think that this Sabian symbol is beautifully echoing all of the chart here for this new moon energy. Thank you so much for joining me for this exploration of the new moon and Cancer energies. I just want to let you know that if you're interested in signing up for my free Substack, I come on every single Monday and do an overview of the weekly astrology energies. And I also do have information in the show notes on my readings that I have available. I also have available one-on-one astrology classes so that you can learn astrology while learning about your own personal natal chart. You can find out more about that in the show notes as well. And I will be back on Monday for all of my followers with the weekly energy report. Take care.